It is already week 5 of Super Rugby AU. I'll be covering the 2 Australian games in this video, so the ones over there. I'll also leave the time tag down here, or you can just scroll at the bottom if you want to skip ahead to your specific game. The standings so far, you can see the Brumbies are leading the Reds by a couple of points. The Reds are just behind them. The Rebels, they are stuck dead in the middle with a win, a loss and a draw so far. And the Force, they will want to capitalize on the Waratahs being on a bye weekend this weekend. Game 1 of the weekend is another one of those supposed home games for the Force in Sydney, so not really. It's clear skies, so good running rugby can be expected, with Damon Murphy being the referee for this one. As always with the Force, the head-to-head history isn't really applicable anymore after they were out of the competition for years. What we can say though is they have lost 3 games so far, and 2 of them they've really stuck in it. They were really competitors in those games, and you could have seen they could actually win it if they really wanted to. The Rebels look to be improving over the last couple of weeks. They started with a loss, then they got a draw, and now they have a win, so you can obviously see they are improving a little bit. They won by 19 points against the Waratahs last weekend, so that's quite a big margin of victory. But that also means the Rebels are quite unpredictable. To add to the unpredictability, they also shuffled their whole pack a little bit, starting at number 15, which is probably the biggest change, with Dane Haylett-Petty being injured. Their captain, so Hodge, shifts from number 13 to number 15. I do like him there. They do utilize his strong running from there and his massive boot as well, so I do prefer him at number 15. That left the number 13 jersey open, so Callaway shifts in from number 14 to number 13. He's one of the top try scorers in the normal season of Super Rugby, so from 14 to 13 might just get him a little bit more ball. Don't know how much ball that will give the wingers outside of him though. He joins Meeks, who's been in formidable form so far, making room for Pincus on the wing. He's come in, he's going to make his Super Rugby debut. I think he's 28 years old. He's been playing in Europe for most of his life, so it's going to be interesting to see how he does in Australia. Tumua takes over the captaincy. I was impressed with him last week alongside Ryan Lawrence, who's been impressive, probably one of the finds of the season, a real surprise this season. They are up against Pryor and Lance Pryor back in the side, so taking back his captaincy as well. They've been a strong combination as well, so I'm quite interested to see how these two pairs go up against each other, especially with Lance. He's finding his form, attacking the line with those flat passes. Yes, there might be an interception or two, but there could also be amazing tries, especially with a guy like Kahui next to him who loves running into the defense. The Force, like I said, they have brought in some reinforcements with Kahui and Godwin in the midfield. They are a new combination. They haven't played much together yet, so yeah, that's going to be a bit difficult for them. But Kahui really tested the line last week when he came on. He brings a little bit more physicality to the side, and you can see he's just as physical as ever. And I'm excited to see this combination going for it. Brachy shifts out to the wing, joining the exciting back three of McGregor and then Ralston, who's probably going to be a Wallaby wing one day. He has a lot of potential. Heiberg versus Ainsley will be one to watch in the scrum, as both of them come into the side. Longbottom, on the other hand, for the Western Force, I think he's really shown what his experience can do for the side, though I think the referee saw things a little bit differently last weekend for him, but in previous weeks his scrummaging was very good. The Force may want to press a little bit at line-out time, because the Rebels haven't really been in great form at this facet of play, while Thrush and Lee Warner have been in great form. Lee Warner, especially on his defense, I think he made 25 tackles last week in a losing side that got zeroed, so very good defense from him. I think he made my dream team as well. If you want to check that out, it will be linked up there. The Force loose forwards have also been troublesome to all opposition. I can't wait to see Stander versus Naisarani, who is back from his injury and just immediately back into the starting side. They said he was training as if it's a World Cup final this weekend, so I'd like to see what he does this weekend. On the benches, the force includes Pick Cowan, the guy that has 130 caps for the force, so he's a legend of their team, as well as Frisbee, who's also an experienced guy who would want to take over from Pryor in the second half and bring something of his own to the team. He's maybe not as experienced as Pick Cowan, but for the Rebels, they have Fauma Sealy who comes on and he just makes those strong runs. And I think give him 20 minutes to play and just tell him, put all your energy out there. We might see some big carries from that guy. Matt Phillip, he will look to get back to his line-out form that he's always been in. He's struggled a little bit in this AU season so far. Looking at the teams, they are quite equal if I have to compare them. I think the Force, they do really stand a chance in this game. But early mistakes so far in this competition have really costed them so far. And the Rebels, they will want to try and capitalize on that. And I think they will want to go at that again and try and get points early on. The Rebels line is disturbed a little bit, while the Force one, it's a bit of a new look as well, so I don't know what to expect from those two going up against each other. The Force, they are also not at home, even though it is a home game, so for me, I would go with the Rebels by 9. But the Force could surprise. I do say they have a win in them somewhere. The second Australian game for the weekend is the competition leaders versus the guys second in command. And a win here for the Reds will make things very interesting in the tournament. The Reds would either lead by 1 point or they will be tied for top spot with the Brumbies. But it won't come easy. The Reds don't win in Canberra quite often. They've only won there 3 times in the last 18 times they have played there. The last time they won there is in 2014. It is clear skies and a good referee, Nick Berry, refereeing the game. So that helps their chances as well. They can play the type of running rugby that they want to play. Let's see how this one goes, because it is two opposites that are very strong in the competition so far. Neither team went crazy with selections in this game or changes in this game. The starting backline I'll start with, because that's where the most interesting change happened, with Malalua coming in at number 9 for McDermott, who's probably been the best player for the Reds, arguably. Malalua, he is in good form. He's very quick off the pass as well. But he's not that threat around the fringes that McDermott is. And that's just something that they will lose in this game. Still, things could be worse. You could have been Quenzel up against James O'Connor. They are similar type of centre 10s, but James O'Connor just is very refined over the Brumbies as number 10. I think he has the edge in this one. Quenzel will want to prove himself though. Simone will be well watched by Stewart, who's great in defense. He makes some of the biggest tackles in the game and the most tackles for the Reds. While Kuridrani, he might have a couple of runs at Paisami, because while Paisami is very good at attack, probably one of the best outside centers in attack, his defense is not as good. He misses like 50% of his tackles in a game, so he misses quite often very important tackles in a game, so Kuridrani might look to exploit that. Out wide, Wright is in great form for the Brumbies. Carter, he was a bit quiet last weekend in his first game back, but maybe this weekend it will be different. While Banks, he does his thing at the fullback. He's quite quiet, but if he's not there, you do miss him, the Brumbies fans. Daigunu for the Reds, he will probably look to add to his tries he's scored. I think he's scored 1 in every game so far. Up front, they changed Xander for Hoopert, who is injured. Xander, he held his own when he came on for the scrums in the previous game so far. So has Tupou as well. I hope he can just get his penalty count down though, because usually it is silly penalties that just cost his side 3 points every now and then, and maybe a yellow card. Then the alliteration gang in SSFF and AA in the front row of the Brumbies. They have been in formidable scrummaging form, especially the two hookers for both sides. Falau Fahinga, all of us know what he can do at the back of the maul. He scores tries for fun. Paenga Amosa, he also does the same thing for the Reds. Setting up those tries though, Both teams made changes in the second row, with Swain coming in at number 4 and then Blythe in for the Reds, who's back from his injury. And just looking on paper, the Reds' pairing for their locks do look a little bit stronger, but we know that's not where we play the game. The loose forward battle will be one to watch, especially Samu versus Wilson at number 8. But the rest of the loose forward pack for both sides are pretty strong, especially the Reds one. If that wasn't strong enough loose forward strength, there is more on the bench. Cusack and McWright comes on for them as well in the second half. James Slipper, Fines and Muriad will want to look to close out the game very strong for the Brumbies. While the Reds, they have McDermott, who can sneak in a try from quite well anywhere over the park. While Pattaya, he's finally back from his second long-term injury in his second year of a Super Rugby, so he would really just want to show what he is made of. The Reds is in great form, and you wouldn't be judged if you do back them to win this one. The Brumbies, though, they are still the better team if you do look at them attacking wise and defensively, especially in their midfield. And they have a really strong squad, probably the better scrum as well. So I'd go with the Brumbies by 5 points, but a lot of this will rest on James O'Connor. If you give him a great game, the Reds really do stand a chance, but 5 points for me for the Brumbies. Guys, let me know your prediction for these games down in the comments below. Also, if you want to check out any of these other videos like the New Zealand games, check it out there, and then hit the subscribe button if you do like the channel. Cheers.